Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Trambakam Yajamati.
Sahanavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviyam Karavavahai Tejasvi Navadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityu Ma Mritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Good morning. So, 2 online classes you had in between. How did you like the online classes? Okay? Not so satisfactory. You want more online classes or offline? Offline only. Why we want to save you from the trouble of coming to this place? But you want to come? Okay. Sometimes, mind enjoys a difference. Continuously offline classes will be boring. Continuously online classes will be boring. Let us have a hybrid mix. Some online classes, some offline classes. Is it okay? But anyway, those who are now learning online, they cannot come here because all of the students are not from Hyderabad. They are not residing in Hyderabad. They are elsewhere. They are in villages and towns. They can't come here for physical classes, even for a variety. Just for a change, if you want to offer them 1 or 2 offline classes, they cannot come because they are from different places. But you have the advantage. You can have offline and also online. Right. See, whenever we say prayer here in our culture, we say Shanti, Shanti, Shanti thrice. You may be wondering, why should we say thrice? You may have the curiosity to know why we chant Shanti thrice. There is a reason behind it. Every embodied being, every creature that has a physical body and that has a mental body, psychological structure, undergoes 3 kinds of afflictions. Afflictions means sufferings. अर्थमవుతుందా చెప్పే समझ में आ रहा है मैं जो बोल रहा हूँ? Are you with me? ठीक है. So 3 kinds of afflictions. The first is adhyatmika. Adhyatmika suffering is that which actually caused by your own self. Most of the times the suffering that we undergo is self-inflicted, in the sense that self-made. We have become experts, the modern generation in fact, in manufacturing pain from within. Not that there is an external agency, not that there is somebody else, not that the situation has gone really bad that is causing you pain. Your own mind turns against you. Most of the time when we fear, when you take some suffering, that is because of wrong imagination, that's all. The situation is not that bad, but you have imagined wrongly, and that gives you suffering, right? మన జీవితంలో మనం భయపడ్డ క్షణాలు ఒకసారి గుర్తు చేసుకుంటే, ఇఫ్ యూ జస్ట్ రిమెంబర్ ద మూమెంట్స్ దట్ యూ అండర్వెంట్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ ఫియర్ ఆర్ ఎగ్జైట్మెంట్, you would find afterwards that it was unnecessary because it just went in different directions, your imagination. So this is called adhyatmika suffering, suffering that individuals undergo because of their own mental makeup. This is not just something actually happened to you. Suppose sometimes people whom you love, they are undergoing some kind of affliction. Nothing to do with your suffering as such. You are not undergoing any affliction, but because you are attached to them, because they are related to you, and because you are concerned about their well-being and their welfare, people, maybe your siblings, maybe your parents, maybe your friends, they are suffering. You also suffer because their suffering becomes your suffering because you identify with them because they are dear to you. That is all come under adhyatmika suffering. The first shanti is for relief from this kind of adhyatmika suffering. You know, sometimes situation is same. The individuals react in different ways. Yes or no? Do you notice that? Situation is same. Some are very sensitive even to small things. They suffer so much. They imagine so much. There are some people who calamity happens in their life, but still they are cool like cucumber. పెద్ద ఉపద్రవం వచ్చి పడింది అయినా వాడు ప్రశాంతంగా ఉంటారు, గంభీరంగా. There are some people in a small thing they react too much and take suffering. There are some who actually, you know, I have seen people who just father passed away. I thought, how these people are so cool. The next day, second day, they have forgotten, and as if nothing happened in their family, they are going, continuing. Maybe they had some pain inwardly, but outwardly they were not showing anything. Sometimes we appreciate, you know, this kind of real strength. Maybe it's not that actually they are not undergoing any suffering, but they don't express anything outwardly. So this is second kind of suffering is this adi bhautika, suffering that comes to us from other agencies. Maybe somebody abuses you, somebody scolds you, somebody threatens you, somebody wants to take away from something from you, snatches away something, you have the fear. So it's a suffering that is caused to us, that comes to us from other agents, human and non-human also. Suppose you are living in a forest, you naturally fear snakes. Maybe you are living in cities, that's why you don't fear snakes. You just go and ask the people who are living in a forest. They have to live in fear of snakes, in fear of scorpion, in fear of other poisonous creatures. You go to Amazon rainforest in Brazil, you know, it's not actually big creatures, not lions or not actually wild buffaloes, and they cause you suffering there. There are small, tiny insects which are very poisonous. Okay, only the local tribes, they know actually which causes harm actually, which is dangerous. Small, tiny bugs and tiny, but they're so poisonous. Once they bite you, it's like as good as snake bite, you will die. So they actually have to, that is the suffering that comes to us from other beings. We may not, people living in cities undergo that kind of affliction, but if you just go to forests and the people in villages, they fear snakes and scorpions and other things. All that suffering comes under adi bhautika. You know, today the maximum suffering comes to us, those people who are living in cities and towns, from a small, tiny creature, tiny fly. What is that? Mosquito. Avuna kada? How much of suffering human beings undergo because of mosquitoes? In Hyderabad, mosquitoes are less. You go to coastal cities, how many mosquitoes are there? Everywhere the drains are clogged, because open drains. And so this all kachra will go into that, all plastic and paper, bottles and everything. So there won't be any flow of drainage. It becomes a stagnant pool and becomes very wonderful breeding ground for mosquitoes. And mosquitoes multiply. I was in Guwahati a few days back. I couldn't stand for 5 minutes. Nights actually we were just walking in the night, myself and another brother monk of the ashrama. And we just, in between, we used to stop for just 2 minutes and 1 minute just to relax. Wow, the mosquitoes will pounce upon you just like that. So many mosquitoes. This is all suffering and affliction that comes to us from other creatures. This is adi bhautika suffering. The second shanti is for upashamana or relief from this adi bhautika suffering. And the third affliction is affliction that comes to beings from elements. Last 3-4 days we suffered, we had to cancel the class for what? Due to rain. So suffering that comes to being from elements, maybe wind, maybe rain, maybe heat, maybe cold, maybe fire. This is called adi daivika suffering. So the third shanti is for that. First is adhyatmika suffering, which comes to individuals on their own accord because of their own imagination, their own understanding, their own perception. The second is adibhautika suffering. First is adhyatmika, second is adibhautika suffering that comes to beings from other sources, from other external agents. And the third is adidhaivika suffering that comes to beings, creatures from elements. The third shanti is for relief, for upasamana from this adidhaivika, from elements. So when you say shanti, shanti, shanti thrice, you are seeking relief from these three kinds of afflictions from the Supreme, from the Divine. You know, in Islamic culture, they say salam, salam. When they greet each other, they say salam. That means peace, peace. And that is the longing, actually. Absolute peace is the longing of every human being, in fact. And in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Ashantasya kutas sukham. If the shanti is not there, how you will get happiness? So shanti is such an important thing. You may have all the things if you are peaceless. It's a kind of torture from within, right? Our brother is there from Manipur. Today, how much of suffering the Manipurians undergoing? Both the ethnic groups, Metis and also Cookies, because of the, whatever that is going on there. One community, one ethnic group is living in fear of other ethnic group. You understand the importance of peace only when you are placed in such situations. Not that you are starving, not that you don't have food on your plate. But peace is so important and so vital for us to experience even little joy in this life. But unfortunately, the state is experiencing, that is undergoing a lot of turmoil. We all need to pray for our brothers there in Manipur. The thing is, peace is very vital. Without that, actually, you may have everything under the sun, but still you will have joylessness. That's why shanti and happiness, they go together. So that's why there should be the genuine longing for peace. Okay? Genuine longing for peace is important. And we are not figuring out. Everybody thinks that only when you have money and power and position we will have happiness. No. The longing of the creature must always be for peace. Peace you will have only when you have right perception to life, and right understanding, when you are conflict free from within and also without. And actually sometimes the conflicts within only get expressed as conflicts outside. So it's very important that human beings make an effort to understand themselves clearly. Why the conflicts arise, why I come in conflict with my fellow citizen or brother human being. So when you need and when you think and ponder on those things, then you understand that genuine longing for peace should be there with everyone. Then you have to, of course, pray to God and surrender to the will of the divine. Then you will experience peace. When there is peace, you will also have joy and happiness. Okay? Thank you. This much for today.